Reading from the book of Lamentations. My soul is deprived of peace. I have forgotten what happiness is. I tell myself my future is lost, all that I hoped for from the Lord. The thought of my homeless poverty is wormwood and gall. Remembering it over and over leaves my soul downcast within me. But I will call this to mind as my reason to have hope. The favors of the Lord are not exhausted. God's mercies are not spent. They are renewed each morning. So great is God's faithfulness. My portion is the Lord, says my soul. Therefore will I hope in God. Good is the Lord to the one who waits, to the soul that seeks. It is good to hope in silence for the saving help of the Lord. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
A reading from the book of Revelation. I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The former heaven and the former earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I also saw the holy city, a new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Behold, God's dwelling is with the human race. God will dwell with them, and they will be God's people, and God will always be with them as their God. God will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death or mourning, wailing or pain, for the old order has passed away." The one who sat on the throne said, "Behold, I am making all things new. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give a gift from the spring of the life-giving water. The victors will inherit these gifts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people." The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Nana loved Grandpa. I love you, Grandpa. You know, when I was a kid, and you'd walk around Nana's house in Farmingville, there would be pictures everywhere. Nana loved pictures, and there was pictures of her family all over the house. I would see pictures of me and my brother, one of my favorite pictures. It reminded us of how spoiled we were by Nana. And there was a beautiful picture of my mom that would sit right there next to us, and it would always remind me of how pretty my mom was when she was younger. I get to see now how pretty she is as she's aging. And I'd always look and I'd say, wow, my mom's so pretty. I remember just looking at the picture, and I know my love for pictures comes from Nana. And then I would wander around the living room, and you'd see pictures of all of her kids just there, pictures of Uncle Kevin when he was younger, Aunt Jo and Aunt Lori, I think cheerleaders and Sachem. And I remember just wandering around the living room and just seeing all the pictures that Nana had. And then Nana wrote me in some of my harder times in life, and she would send me pictures constantly. I have so many pictures. I have pictures of Uncle Jackie. I have pictures of Aunt Dolly. I have pictures of so many people in our family that I never had the joy and the opportunity to maybe spend so much time with. But I knew them through the pictures. I knew them through the stories that Nana would share with me. Nana loved her family. She loved her family. The joy is Nana still loves her family. She loved us so much. Nana loved her friends. Nana showed herself to be friendly, and it proved throughout her life. She had friends everywhere. So each of us today, family, friend, or maybe you're just getting acquainted with her story, and if she was here, you'd call yourself a friend as well. There's so many things I could say. I love to learn about Nana's habits. I share a love for Reese's that I gained from Nana. I share a love for Entenmann's, you know, the silly things of life, but she loved them, and they had their impression on me when I was younger. I've mentioned Nana a lot in the last decade of my life. She impacted me greatly. I wouldn't be here to tell you any of this if it wasn't for Nana taking time to write to me, to listen to me. She was so proud of me. She told me, which makes me rejoice, that she told me how proud she was of me. She wrote me letters, sent me cards. I saved all of them. She was proud of us, her family. She had a lot to rejoice in. Throughout my life, she's been there to help me so much. She would bring goldfish to us as kids from Sam's Club. You know, we loved them, the big box. She would take us school shopping. I wouldn't know what school shopping was if it wasn't for Nana taking us school shopping. She enrolled me in the Boy Scouts, taught me what allowance was. Christmas. I think we all know. Nana loved Christmas. It's fitting that there's an Advent candle here as we're celebrating Nana's life, is it not? And it's the week of rejoicing. May we have exceeding joy in knowing Nana and having the times that we've had. And I pray that as we celebrate today, we think of all that we had with Nana. She took me to Disney. Again, I mentioned she wrote me in hard times. It meant a lot. Might I encourage everyone here, write a letter to someone today. Take the time. Nana would love that. She'd appreciate that. Because again, she showed herself friendly. She sent cards for every holiday. I've saved a lot of them. I wish I could say I saved all of them. But I have cards for every holiday. And again, Nana telling me she was proud of me and she loved me. Nana's love was undeniable. She always listened, always understood, or at least made me feel that way. I know me and Uncle Bill were talking about that Nana would sympathize with me, even when there were times where I look back now and I'm like, no, she shouldn't have sympathized with that. She should have called me out and said I was crazy. But she loved me and she listened and she made me feel as though she understood. And you know, going back to the pictures all around the house, as I think about Nana's children, and by the way, I know she didn't want us to call her grandma, she wanted us to call her Nana. And one of the things I lament is as my beautiful daughter is sitting there in a pew, I wish I could ask Nana, what would you want her to call you? Maybe it would be Great Nana. But again, as I think about the pictures and her children, I see Nana in every one of her children. I see Uncle Kevin, kind, gentle. If you get him mad, you might feel the wrath. And that was Nana. It was a soft wrath, but it was wrath nonetheless. My mom, the kindness, the love, the wisdom. Aunt Lori, Aunt Joe, kindness, understanding, always listening. The wisdom that all of you contain as her children. It's stored up. There's great wealth in knowing Nana. Again, love, listening, understanding, or at least letting me feel that she understood. Those are attributes of God. Nana loved God, and it clearly showed. If I may just say something about our reading in closing, in Lamentations, it started out harsh. My hope is gone. I'm in despair. Verse 19 says, the thought of my wretched homelessness is wormwood and poison. However, just a couple verses later, but I will call this to mind. And as many of us are mourning and sad that we won't have all those times with Nana that we've had in the past, let us call to mind the moments that we have. Let us call to mind what Nana would want us to call to mind, that the Lord's acts of mercy are not exhausted and his compassion is not spent. They are renewed each day, morning by morning. The Lord is my portion. I tell myself, therefore, I will hope in him. It is good to hope in silence. That's the way that Lamentations reading ends. As I thought about what I wanted to share with our family, obviously, I could never do justice to talking about Nana. I would be here all day. They didn't quite give me that opportunity. However, I thought about, well, how can I commemorate her in my life and encourage others to commemorate Nana with your life? And I thought about that Lamentation reading in that last verse, to hope in silence. And I said, what does that mean, to hope in silence? And I did a little bit of research. Nana would always encourage me to do some research. And I found a quote that I'll share with you in closing here. And it says this: our activity should consist in placing ourselves in a state of susceptibility to divine impressions and pliability to all the operations of the eternal word. In other words, might we take every moment to see where God's at work in the minds, the hearts, the eyes, the ears, the handshakes of the people around us. That's what Nana would want us to do. She'd want us to see God in each of the people around us and to appreciate each other, to listen to each other, to love each other. Thank you. Love you, Nana.